Welcome back to 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House. Again, thank you so much to West High School and Lamar Brown for the hospitality tonight. They won big tonight, 61-7 over Morristown West, and anything that West High School wanted to do, they did defensively, offensively, and so they roll into round 2 against Davy Crockett with a lot of momentum. Let's take a look around the area, get you up to date on some scores tonight. Again, Farragut did just win in double overtime against number 1 seed Science Hill. Dawson Moore, the quarterback at Farragut, 3-yard touchdown run. Farragut converts the 2-point conversion play. They get the win, and what a year for Farragut. They played one of the most difficult schedules in the state, go into the playoffs by beating Bearden in Week 11 to sneak in, and now a win over Science Hill. And congratulations to Eddie Courtney, his staff, the Farragut community. That's a big time win right there in round 1. Anderson County had a fight out of Seymour. Seymour was looking for its first playoff win since 2004, and they had a lead there for a while on Anderson County, but the Mavericks prevailed 39-21. Who will they play in round 2? We'll get you some brackets here in just a minute. Bradley Central fends off Jefferson County 24-21. CAK wins tonight 21-0 over FRA. Catholic had a 10-point lead over Dallin Hayden, the Ohio State running back commit, son of former Vol Aaron Hayden and Christian Brothers. Christian Brothers, though, scores from the 2 with about 30 seconds left. They win tonight at Catholic, eliminate the Irish from the playoffs 28-24. Greenback eliminated tonight at Cloudland 42-24. Coalfield wins easily. Halls goes on the road against Daniel Boone, a number 1 seed. I thought they would win that game. It was close, but they fall 19-12 tonight. Sevier County, another team that I thought could upset a number 2 seed, but they fall at Davy Crockett 24-14. Elizabethton handled Carter 47-14. Greenville got a good fight out of South Doyle tonight for a while, but the Greendale was just too much. They're number 1 seed, number 1 team in the state. A lot of people, including me, picking them to win a state championship in 4A. Sean Gary topped 100 yards tonight rushing for South Doyle, 105, but South Doyle was 5 for 20 passing the football tonight. Those Greenville defensive backs are very good, and Mason Gudger, the Mr. Football semifinalist for Greenville, over 100 yards rushing, over 100 yards receiving, showing why he was in the final 5 there for Mr. Football in Class 4A. Gatlinburg-Pittman holds on to beat Chucky Doak 40-35. Carnes, again, gets its first win tonight, 27-25. First ever win in the playoffs, and maybe we can roll a little footage of them celebrating on the field after the game. Hats off to Brad Taylor. We're going to try to get Brad Taylor on the show later on tonight on the Waffle House hotline and just describe the emotions of what happened in that game, because Carnes was leading by 9 at half, 21-12. Walker Valley comes all the way back, takes the lead. Carnes takes the lead, and then some high drama there late in the game. Carnes defensively trying to come up with some stops. I know there's some big penalties on Walker Valley that hindered their progress, and you see the elation, the emotion. Thanks so much, Danny Parker, for those videos of what happened tonight out at Carnes. And first playoff appearance by Carnes in 10 years. First ever home playoff game, and they get the win 27-25 and advance in the 5A playoffs. Kings Academy wins tonight over Franklin Grace 55-36. Kingston barely holds on, knocks off Sequatchie County. Central wins easily. Fulton wins easily. West High School wins easily. Loudon routs Grundy County. Maryville had a little bit of a struggle in the first half tonight. Had a touchdown wiped off and a penalty late in the first half. It was 21-14 at the break. I'm sure they got into their players a little bit there at halftime. Final score, Maryville 41-14. One of the interesting games in 5A pitted McMinn County against Oak Ridge. And I remind you of what happened last year to McMinn County. They had Jalen Hunt, a running back who at the time was signed in FCS and eventually signed with TSU. He was a Mr. Football finalist, one of the area's leading rusher, if not the area's leading rusher. They had Bryson Goodner, who's now on the roster at Virginia Tech. They had all the pieces in place for a nice run in 6A. And then controversy hit with their game against Dobbins Bennett. McMinn County had to basically forfeit. There was COVID that popped into the situation, and they weren't able to play that football game. So a lot of heartbreak from the McMinn County community, and they started piecing together a really nice season again this fall. They started off 1-3, then won their final 6 games of the season to go into the 5A playoffs with a lot of momentum, and that momentum carried over tonight. And you start to see McMinn County really starting to get things going offensively against Oak Ridge, and got up big in that game against Oak Ridge. I think it was 21-0. Oak Ridge was coming in trying to stop McMinn County's 6-game win streak, trying to salvage their season. Oak Ridge only had 3 wins this year, trying to get a playoff win or 2 to really make it feel like they accomplished something this fall. And they get down there in the fourth quarter, trailing by 7, and McMinn County's defense comes up with a huge stop right there at the goal line to eliminate Oak Ridge from the playoffs. So congratulations, Bo Cagle, and to the Cherokee Nation, community, fan base, whatever you want to call them, after losing their postseason last year to get this win this year in 5A. Congratulations, McMinn County. Mex County, the area hopeful in 2A, they win tonight easily. Midway rallies on the road against Unaka 42-26. Oakdale, the Eagles, J.R. Voiles, head football coach. Oakdale has its first ever playoff victory tonight. Congratulations to the Eagles. Remember 3 or 4 years ago where Oakdale had to forfeit the last 3 or 4 games of the season because they didn't have enough players to put together a varsity team? And now to see them 3 or 4 years later getting that playoff victory, that's what the postseason is about. That's what high school sports is about, and that's what we do. Love seeing stories like that. Congratulations to the Eagles and the J.R. Voiles and the Oakdale community. Oneida wins easily tonight. Pigeon Forge holds on, stops a 2-point conversion late against West Creek. They win 21-20. Powell, no first-round exit this year. They beat Ooltewah easily, 42-0. Walter Nolan with the touchdown run in that one. Rockwood wins easily over Happy Valley. South Green wins easily. And Westridge, even though they're not our team, Westridge was a consolidated school up in Kingsport, the Sullivan East, Sullivan North, Sullivan South, consolidated and created that school in 6A, and they get the win tonight in their first ever playoff game, 17-14 over Cleveland. So that's going to take us to our next break. When we come back, we're going to look at playoff pairings for round 2. We're going to go through all the brackets and preview next week's action in the TSSAA playoffs. So stick with us. We got more to come right here on 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
East Tennessee, the foothills of the Smokies, beautiful lakes, Friday night heroes, and one red light small towns with more life than any big city, where orange and white is displayed. Yeah, the one and only home of the Tennessee Vols, but also the home of the 134th Air Refueling Wing Volunteers. You might catch us in the beautiful skies of East Tennessee, flying the time-tested, irreplaceable, world-traveling, aerial refueling KC-135. Yeah, you heard that right. We refuel other aircraft while traveling the world at over 30,000 feet and 500 miles an hour. The amazing thing is, that's really not the 134th Air Refueling Wing's greatest strength. Our greatest strength is our airmen, our warriors, who have answered our nation's call. Guardians of freedom and justice, not only in our beautiful hills, but worldwide. They are our sentries and avengers, defending our country with their lives. They are the best of us, wingmen, leaders, and warriors, and you best believe they will never falter or fail. Flying, fighting, and winning, they are American Airmen and Tennessee Air National Guardsmen. So what are you waiting for? It's time to join the hometown team. Visit GoANG.com or call 1-800-TO-GO-ANG.
You're watching 5 Star Live. East Tennessee's #1 post-game high school football show. Live on location from the biggest game of the week. Live interviews from the winning coaches and players, along with highlights from other big games from around Tennessee. Your host, Jesse Smithy, with decades of experience covering high school sports, and his 5-star preps team will update you on games as they become final and will break down region outlooks and what's to come for your favorite football teams and top players. Now, get ready for the most comprehensive high school football coverage in Tennessee on 5 Star Live.
Welcome back to 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House, back here at West High School, where the Rebels win 61-7 tonight over Morristown West. We have confirmation now that Karns head football coach Brad Taylor will join us in the next segment. The Karns Beavers won their first ever playoff game tonight, so we'll talk to Brad about that environment and all that went into that football game. So if you're a Karns fan or just a fan of high school football, you're not going to want to miss that interview. All right, let's get to the playoff brackets and start to look at round 2 of the TSSAA playoffs. We will start in Class 1A. And you look at the second round matchups, Oakdale, a 2 seed, going on the road to Cloudland, and Cloudland handled Greenback tonight in a big way. So Oakdale, congratulations for getting your first ever playoff victory. It's going to be a tough task for you in round 2. We wish you the best of luck there. Midway, really dangerous Midway team. They can really put up points in a hurry tonight, and they did that tonight against Unaka, putting up over 40 points. Caleb Goodman at wide receiver, Emmett Haglin at quarterback, one of the more dangerous wide receiver quarterback duos in the area. Really intriguing matchup with Midway, a 3 seed, going on the road to face Coalfield, and believe those two teams are in the same district. So going to be some familiarity there between both of those, and but really expecting both 1 seeds to probably advance there. Cloudland against Coalfield, and I think that game would be at Cloudland, so keep an eye on that. Let's switch over into Class 2A, where South Green, a state quarterfinalist a year ago, where they ran up it to Meigs County. They advanced tonight easily. They will take on an Oneida team that may be surprising some people this year. When head coach Tony Lambert left to go to the college ranks, didn't really know what Oneida was going to look like, but they won 7 games in the regular season. They won tonight over Cumberland Gap, and then they advance into the second round to take on number 1 seed South Green. Hampton beat a really good Monterey team tonight, so this looks like the typical Hampton type of team. What we don't know was what's going to be the quarterback situation for Rockwood. Remember, during our playoff war room show a week ago, we told you that Rockwood down 2 or 3 quarterbacks this year and has some guys hurt in week 11. They win easily tonight over Happy Valley, but be interesting to see if they can maybe get a player or 2 back, maybe get a good guy there under center in round 2 and take on a really tough Hampton team. So if there's anything that we know about John Webb, head football coach at Rockwood, is he knows how to get the most out of his team in difficult situations, and he's proven that in the past. And we'll see if he can do that once again. But there are your second round matchups in Class 2A. Moving on into 3A, Unicoi County knocked off Austin East tonight. They will take on Pigeon Forge, who hung on there late, stopped a 2-point conversion against West Green. Pigeon Forge had a 2-touchdown lead and almost let it get away there at the end of the game, but they survived, they move on, and I like their chances against this Unicoi team. Unicoi's got a 1,000-yard tailback that they'll have to worry about on defense, but it's a winnable game, I think, for Pigeon Forge. Gatlinburg-Pittman, congratulations, you got the win tonight. You have to take on an angry Alcoa team in round 2 that probably mad they didn't get to play in the first round of the playoffs. They're used to winning football games in the month of November and playing football games in the month of November. When they don't get to do that, I think you're going to see some motivated tornadoes next week. So looking at the bracket there, definitely seeing an Alcoa, Pigeon Forge, maybe Unicoi County there in the third round, but Alcoa just, you can see its path to another state championship kind of crystallizing there. They're going for 7 in a row in 3A this year. Moving on into the other half of the top bracket, the second quadrant, if you will, in Class 3A. Loudon wins tonight easily over Grundy County. They're going to be taking on Canning County. That game just went final. They beat Signal Mountain tonight 10-7, so that's another winnable game for Loudon, who's hoping to get to the semifinals and try its hand against Alcoa. Kingston hung on the win against Sequatchie County tonight. That Giles County team, though, keep an eye on them. They are undefeated for the first time in about 10 years, and that team they had 10 years ago was pretty good. So they're feeling really good about their team. Kingston feeling good about their team. Might be one of the better games in round 2 next week. But again, projecting the bracket is looking like Loudon versus Giles County in the state quarterfinals. Moving on into 4A, Greenville wins tonight easily over South Doyle, pulling away in the second half. They get an old foe in Fulton coming up to Greene County next week. Just, man, that game looks fantastic. Fulton, big win tonight over Volunteer. They're playing really good defense this year. It's going to make it harder for Greenville to maybe run the ball than they did tonight against South Doyle. That big defensive front by Fulton could give them some difficulty. So Fulton at Greenville in round 2. And there it is, Elizabethton and Anderson County. Remember, these two teams have played earlier in the year. It was the Elizabethton Anderson County game where Anderson County debuted its offense midway through the season without Walker Martinez. He had broken his arm the week before. He could not play on the road at Elizabethton, and Anderson County went into that game with only maybe 2 or 3 days of preparation time trying to find an answer at quarterback, and they hung tough for a while against Elizabethton, but the Cyclones eventually pulled away. What will they do differently this time? That Cody Miller, the freshman, is that quarterback, and can they find a way to create some defensive turnovers? This isn't the same powerful Elizabethton team that we saw win 2 championships in 2019 and 2020, but they're still awfully good with Jake Roberts at wide receiver, Bryson Rollins at quarterback, probably feeling snubbed in the Mr. Football conversation. He's one of the better dual threats around, so Anderson County's defense is definitely going to have its hands full in that one. But Greenville, Fulton, Elizabethton, Anderson County, those were the 4 teams that we kind of all thought might be there in the second round. We're going to get those matchups next Friday night. Moving on into 5A, Daniel Boone, again, got the surprising win over Halls, even though Daniel Boone was a 1 seed. Kind of thought Halls and Central would rematch there in the second round, but we're going to see Central on the road against number 1 seed Daniel Boone in the second round. And Davy Crockett, we talked with Lamar Brown about that in the first segment, just about what they're going to face. Really good quarterback at Davy Crockett, but this West team just has something special going on. Definitely see a West and Central rematch. Remember, Central just got pounded by West High School in Week 11. If they get to play again, will they do anything differently? And can West just continue to assert themselves on opponents? We'll see. And also in 5A, Powell takes on McMinn County. McMinn County will travel to Powell. I like Powell to win this game with ease, even though McMinn County has done well and won 7 games in a row. This Powell team's just on a different level. And that Carnes-Ray County game really looks intriguing. Both teams run the football. Ray County does it with discipline and with wing T and with formation and schematics under Mark Pemberton, and Carnes does it with athleticism and power and just superstar player in Deshaun Bishop, who's chasing Jalen Hurd, state single season record in rushing. So both teams are going to want to run the football game. It's going to be a quick game. It's all going to be about who can protect the football, not fumble the football, especially at the goal line situations. And Carnes will have to go on the road as a 2 seed to Ray County. It's a difficult place to play, but some really intriguing matchups there in 5A. Switching over to 6A, we can tell you that Farragut, again, won in double overtime as a 4 seed, knocking off number 1 seed Science Hill, 57-56 in double overtime. They will rematch with Bradley Central, a team from their region that they are all too familiar with. These two teams have played in the postseason quite a bit, and it's always tightly contested football games, and it was a tightly contested football game this year. I think Bradley Central ended up winning on a field goal in their regular season matchup, so that could be one of the games, or one of the best games in round 2 next week. Farragut already with the game of the week this week. Westridge, we told you this is a brand new school, brand new football program. They win their first ever football playoff game tonight against Cleveland. But now they got to go to Maryville, and I don't think Maryville was very happy with the way they played tonight. I think you see them come out more crisp, more polished, more motivated to get to that state quarterfinal rounds. I remind you, Maryville has made it to the state semifinals at least in 21 consecutive seasons. Can they make it 22? We'll see. So that's going to wrap up the brackets there. We'll talk about some Division II brackets coming up after the break, but we're going to catch a quick breather. When we come back, we're going to talk to Brad Taylor, head football coach of the Carnes Beavers, right here on 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House.
Coker Rental Company is your hometown go-to spot to rent equipment and tools. We offer fast delivery on late model, low hour, boom lifts, excavators, track skid steers, scissor lifts, and more. Coker Rental Company prides itself on great customer service and providing the best equipment and tools at a reasonable rate. Give us a call today at 865-457-1478 and let us be your go-to rental company for your next project.
Men's Grooming Studio is Knoxville's premier barbershop. Conveniently located in the center of K-Town, Tapered will have you feeling and looking your best. We offer walk-in appointments, and we specialize in haircuts for both young and old. Our master barbers will give you the best haircut you can find in a style that is unique to you. Come and see us today or check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House. And as I promised before we got to the break, I want to update you on some Division II brackets. Catholic, again, eliminated tonight, so there's no more local teams in Division II AAA. Kings Academy gets the win tonight in Division II Single A. That means they play at USJ. USJ is state runner-up in the last 2 years. They have one of the areas, or one of the state's better running backs, that averages more than 10 yards per carry. TKA will have its hands full on the road in Jackson, Tennessee next week against a USJ team that's hoping this is their year to win state, because the three-time defending state champion in Division IIA, David's Academy, they moved up into Division II AA this year. They take on Knoxville Webb next week. Webb had a bye this week, so they will host Davidson Academy, again, coming off of 3 state championships in Division II Single A, trying their hand against the big boys in Division II AA. So Webb will host that game. CAK will play CPA, last year's state champion. So that game will be one of the better Division II games next week. We'll see if CAK can make a nice little run, but CPA wants some revenge on Lipscomb Academy, who they beat in the championship last year but lost to in the regular season this year. So keep an eye on that CAK versus CPA game next week. All right, that does it for our bracket talk. We're going to get to the Waffle House hotline. We now bring in head football coach Brad Taylor from the Carnes Beavers. Brad, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know your phone's probably going crazy with text messages and calls. What's it been like in the aftermath of Carnes winning its first ever playoff game?
Oh, man, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And I'm really happy for our kids, our players, our coaches that did a great job tonight. It was nice. It was a good win against a good football team. It was a good game.
Walker Valley, of course, surprised a lot of people last year when they upset Powell in the first round of the playoffs. I'm sure you guys probably reminded your team about that, but what was the difficulty with Walker Valley this year? What were they like scheme-wise and talent-wise?
They're first. They're very well coached. They had a great game plan. And then them offensively, they got a heck of a quarterback. I've got some good receivers too, but quarterback, big, strong kid with a big-time arm, can really spin it, can run the ball. He's a good football player. And then defensively, just a lot of guys that are kind of linebacker type guys that were great technicians and run the football well, and they had them in the right spots. It was made it. Kind of tough sledding along the way, but I'm happy for our kids. They executed really well, and we didn't shoot ourselves in the foot, didn't make mistakes, and so can run the ball. That allowed us to be a football player. Have 2 more points. And then defensively, just a lot of guys.
Lost Brad Taylor there. We'll get him back.
Oh, no.
Brad, you still with us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. We lost you there for a
second. Oh, sorry.
But you were talking about Walker Valley, and I had a writer there at the game tonight, and y'all's opening drive when you scored on, I think, was 20 plays, and you involved Deshaun Bishop in 18 of those. And just wonder how he handled the workload tonight and how successful he was.
He had a good game, and and like I said, Walker Valley had a good game plan. They got a lot of guys up there. At the point of attack, and so it wasn't easy, but he had a good game. Played very solid, and he just does a good job. Kind of getting better and kind of wearing on people as the game goes on.
You guys took a lead into the halftime, and I wonder what your message was about finishing the job.
Yeah, that was it exactly. We got to finish. We got to focus. We got to stay focused, stay locked in. That was our message. We knew they're good. They've got a lot of firepower. So we knew that they probably weren't done scoring points. So we just got to finish. We just needed one stop, and we were able to get that. It just made it for a really good win all the way across the board, all sides of the ball.
When that final second ticked off and you guys knew you had that game, I hate this question. I hear sideline reporters all the time, but what were your emotions? Was it relief? Was it happiness? Was it just tears of joy? Yeah. Or how'd you handle the moment?
It was good. It was happy. I'm really excited for our kids. They've worked hard. They're a good bunch of kids. They've enjoyed playing football and enjoyed practicing football. So I was really excited for them. Good for them. It's just nice for those guys to be rewarded.
We look at the bracket ahead, and we see another team that likes to run the football with Ray County and Mark Pemberton and running that wing T offense. Have you guys seen any wing T this year?
No, which, that's okay. And we're glad we haven't. We got to see it next week, but we know they're good. And of course, Coach Pemberton is awesome at it. He's a really good football coach, and he's awesome at running the wing T. And we're gonna celebrate this for 24 hours, and then we're going to get started on Ray County and the wing T.
Yeah. Well, Brad, again, congratulations on the win tonight. Thanks for joining us on the Waffle House Hotline. And we met with you, and when we came out to Carnes a few weeks back, and y'all got a win over Carter, and we talked about the progression of this program. But just looking back on where it started and where it is, I just can't say congratulations enough.
I appreciate it. That means a lot. Thank you, Jesse.
Yep. That's Brad Taylor, head football coach at Carnes High School. They win tonight over Walker Valley and advance into the 5A playoffs. First ever postseason victory at Carnes. And again, when Brad took over there, I'm sure there are a lot of people that said that he couldn't win. He'd never get this team to the playoffs. A lot of doubters proved wrong tonight by Carnes High School, and we'll see if they can keep going. Again, really intriguing matchup with Ray County there in round 2. So we don't know yet where we'll be next week. We know it'll be a much better game than I think this West High School game was, 61-7 over Morristown West. Round 2 typically brings a lot more drama, a lot more tightly contested football games. So stick with us. We'll be around in round 2 next week. Make sure you're logging on to 5starpreps.com tonight. We got lots of videos. We got game coverage, photo galleries from around the area, playoff pairings, everything you need more to stay up to date on the TSSAA football postseason. Again, I'm Jesse Smithy. Thanks for tuning in tonight on 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House, and we'll catch you guys next week in round 2.
You're watching 5 Star Live, presented by Waffle House, East Tennessee's #1 post-game high school football show. Live on location from the biggest game of the week. Live interviews from the winning coaches and players, along with highlights from other games around East Tennessee. Your hosts, Jesse Smithy and Kevin Smith, with decades of experience covering and coaching high school sports, along with the 5 Star Preps team, will update you on games as they become final, and will break down region outlooks and what's to come for your favorite football teams and top players. Now, get ready for the most comprehensive high school football coverage in Tennessee on 5 Star Live.
Coker Rental Company is your hometown go-to spot to rent equipment and tools. We offer fast delivery on late model, low hour, boom lifts, excavators, track skid steers, scissor lifts, and more. Coker Rental Company prides itself on great customer service and providing the best equipment and tools at a reasonable rate. Give us a call today at 865-457-1478 and let us be your go-to rental company for your next project.
Men's Grooming Studio is Knoxville's premier barbershop. Conveniently located in the center of K-Town, Tapered will have you feeling and looking your best. We offer walk-in appointments, and we specialize in haircuts for both young and old. Our master barbers will give you the best haircut you can find in a style that is unique to you. Come and see us today or check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Them